graphic design services, from established companies to startups and individuals, creating a simple logo to complete rebranding and delivering visual communication with print media. Everything SOS Graphic Design does has a single unifying objective: to set your business apart. We are at your service. Call 313-342-2166. That's 313-342-2166, or online at www.sosgraphicdesigns.com.
Are your clothes coming apart at the seams? Universal Seamstress and Tailoring has got you covered. At Universal Seamstress and Tailoring, we specialize in a wide variety of alterations and transformations to make and keep your clothes looking and fitting their best. From hem jobs to downsizing suits and dresses for a perfect fit, to replacing zippers and buttons, Universal Seamstress and Tailoring is your one-stop shop for clothing maintenance. Also, do you have a logo for your clothes you'd like to wear? Universal Seamstress and Tailoring can put it there. That's right. At Universal Seamstress and Tailoring, we not only do alterations, but embroidery as well. Shirts, pants, coats, hats, even bags. If you can wear it, we can embroider it. So remember, whether it be alterations or embroidering you need, Universal Seamstress and Tailoring has got you covered. Universal Seamstress and Tailoring is located at 1404 Main Street, Fayette, Mississippi. Come and see us or give us a call at 601-786-0540.
Year-Around Landscaping has been serving Metro Detroit for over 20 years, offering various landscaping, lawn care, property maintenance, and home renovation. Our professionalism has earned us an outstanding reputation, while our creativity, integrity, and dependability have kept our clients returning and referring us to others. At Year-Round Landscaping, we prioritize quality customer service. We treat every client as our only client before, during, and after providing our services. We believe in building solid relationships with our clients and ensuring their satisfaction. Whether you need a complete outdoor makeover, indoor renovation, or routine maintenance, we have the expertise and resources to deliver outstanding results. Our team is committed to providing exceptional service and completing every project to the highest standard. To schedule an estimate or consultation, please call us at 248-843-6139 or visit our website at yearroundlandscaping.net.
Year-Around Landscaping. One source, unlimited resources.
For elite carpet, floor, and upholstery cleaning, call Supreme Steam Cleaning. For pressure washing on your house and driveway, call Supreme Steam Cleaning. Flooding in your house or building? Supreme Steam Cleaning's got you covered with our emergency water extraction services. Transform the rooms in your home with floor installation, repairs, and more. Give us a call today at 601-720-5138. That's 601-720-5138. Visit our website, www.supremesteamclean.com, and follow us on social media at Supreme Steam Cleaning. When you need an elite team, call Supreme.
For all facets of professional hair care and braiding, come to Sisters Braid 2, located at 18070 Mount Elliott in Detroit. We specialize in braiding and natural styles, knotless box braids, feed-in braids, scalp twists for men, women, and children. We specialize in all facets of healthy hair. Try our natural oils to keep your hair healthy. 313-826-0498 or 248-372-1738.
Murray, out of the pocket. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Murray hits the downfield. Oh, man, the power's out again.
You have reached Quality Construction and Engineering, your #1 emergency generator source.
Power outages can be unpredictable, inconvenient, and disruptive to your life. With a backup generator, your life goes on uninterrupted with power when you need it. Not to mention the peace of mind of having your property suited to weather the storm.
Whoever would have thought in Houston, Texas, that we would have an ice storm? It did happen, and that Sunday night when it came in, I got up and looked out the front door. Everything was pitch black. It was horrible. Something out of a novel or science book that you had never seen before. Once the lights went out, my generator popped on. It ran 55 hours. The only one had lights.
Get your backup generator installed with Quality Construction. We install both residential and commercial generators, so you're always covered. Schedule your consultation with us by calling 1-855-876-9370. That's 1-855-876-9370. Or visit us online at www.powerqec.com. That's www.powerqec.com. Financing is available with low monthly payments and 0% interest for 18 months.
That was the best investment that we could have ever made. That's my backup, the generator.
Generators with Quality Construction, built tough enough to weather the storm.
Capital Area Planning Services offers a variety of services catered to your land development needs. We offer landscape design, residential design, land planning, mapping and consulting services, and more. We have over 20 years of design and land planning experience. CAPS LLC offers services to developers, builders, architects, surveyors, contractors, government agencies, and private landowners. Feel free to contact us to find out which services are available in your area. You may reach us at 601-326-2966. That's 601-326-2966. You can also visit us on the web at www.capsllconline.com. Let us put on our thinking caps to serve your land development needs.
The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Brothers and sisters, are you tired of reading the Holy Scripture and not really understanding what you read? And if you're reasonably sure, have you ever tested that what you feel you know with someone that has a different view than your own? Then let's talk with one another. Then let's reason with one another on a Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man every Wednesday at 9 p.m., Friday at 9 p.m., and Sunday at 12 noon on WHPR TV Detroit Live, 88.1 FM WHPR, and Comcast Cable. Why don't you call and discuss the Holy Bible, and if you have one, the Holy Quran, and come to an agreement about the Holy Scriptures and their true meaning? You can call in live on the air at area code 313-868-4336, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0351. That's 313-868-4336, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0351. And now, let's go live with a Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just. I greet you all once again who are hungry and thirsty for the true understanding of the Word of God and for the truth in general. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Salam alaikum. You know, it makes me happy to see you all remembering the instructions that I give you. So much so that you see it has become a habit. You put a mask on without even thinking about it. And you forget you have them on. But I also told you you don't have to wear them when you're around each other. As long as you're doing it out in the public, we safe. So you can take them down while you're sitting here. Because they you know, when you have something on your skin just all the time, it can be an irritant. It can become harmful. You know, if you notice, doctors, while they at there dealing with very infectious diseases, they keep their masks on in that hospital. When they leave the hospital, they take it off. Do you understand? So give your skin a chance to breathe. Those of you, especially y'all who out every day, I know that can be kind of rough. But that's how you keep yourself and your loved ones safe. As Dr. Fauci warned us, he said, you may be through with COVID, but COVID ain't through with you. Do you understand? So that was a hint to the wise. You got all these people walking around out there that won't put a mask on, wouldn't put a mask on when they was, and you saw a man set himself on fire today. Set himself on fire. Is that a sane act? Okay, you think you done seen something? You ain't seen nothing. They ain't telling you how many people every year committing suicide. They don't tell you them. You have to go and look that up. They had over 28,000 suicides last year by guns. So, you know, I told you. You think that the warnings that I give people, it don't have no consequences. Allah told me to warn you. He said, give them warning from me. So you just like if you say you my follower, then follow. If you ain't gonna follow, you'd do better to go on back out there in them streets than to be hanging out here with me faking. Do you understand? Keep your hands down. You all, that's another way you show your faith in me too. When I tell you something, you do it. Do you understand? You're going to get enough of running in front of me instead of getting behind me. My body don't do nothing until my head order it to. So, and you notice, people hear me talking to you all like most people talk to their followers in private. You know why I let them hear me publicly? To show you that I ain't telling you something I'm ashamed of. And if you ashamed of me, you ain't got no business with me. Please. Take that mask down. It ain't funny. You start listening when I'm talking and you do what I say. And get in the habit of taking full breaths. Your lungs will inflate really good if you give them a chance to. Am I clear? Most people, they breathe so fast. I mean, you know, I don't see how you can do that. Why don't you take a deep breath and get in the habit of breathing properly? Your blood is at its best when it's got a full load of oxygen. Am I clear? All right. If you think I don't know what I'm talking about, you talk to some of them who trying to get back with me. You know, I was thinking about Judge Mashan. He got a great load on his shoulders now. He has to preside over a criminal trial where the former president of the United States is the defendant. Regardless of what we think of Donald Trump, he still is the former president of the United States. Do you understand? And so many people say, well, he should be treated like everybody else. Well, that's true, but he ain't like everybody else. And so it's certain things that a judge has to take into account in order to be just. And also, so that, I mean, as they use the term polarization, the Democrats and the Republicans, especially the Republicans, are very, very, they have become more Republicans than American. And you could say to hell with them, or you could say, I'm not going to make it worse. So, I was thinking about what Judge Mashan has to do with making sure that even the former president of the United States recognizes the authority of the law and the authority of the judge who is presiding over his case. Now, how do you do that without appearing to be partisan? And I thought about my case. When I went before judges, especially the judge that threw me in jail, that judge gave me an order that I told him my religion won't let me do what you're telling me to do that. And he said that you either do it or you will be held in contempt until you do it. Which was he I had been given temporary custody of my daughter. And he, at least one of my daughters. And he said he'd heard some disturbing news, which he hadn't heard nothing. That was his excuse to do what he was about to do. And I knew it. And so his name was Griffin, Judge Griffin. And he told me to bring my daughter to court. And I said, I'm not going to bring my daughter in here. And so he put out a bench warrant. So I made sure that my daughter wasn't where they was looking for her at. And I made sure that nobody told me where they was. And nobody knew but the person who took them, and I wasn't going to tell it. And so he found me in contempt. And he told them to incarcerate me. So first they put me in jail in Port Gibson. And then this sheriff from Jefferson County came and got me and put me in jail over there. And the judge said to me, you got the key to let yourself out. Obey my order. And so almost, how long was I over there? 2 or 3 months? Y'all remember? Was it 2 months? Huh? But a lot of the officers over there, we got to know each other, and I was teaching from jail. So it wasn't really bothering me to be in there until I found out some things was going on out here with some of my followers that I had to make a choice between checking on them and the safety of my daughter, so I put them first. And a lot of y'all say, well, what kind of father is that? Well, it's a father that understands that I have responsibilities to more than just my daughter. And come up here, baby. Now, here she is now. So what did he do? Okay, that's my point. And so my daughter's right here with her daddy by choice. And she's a grown woman. So now, but I learned a lesson. Like Master Farad Muhammad, he said, when the messenger wanted to know the price of freedom for us, he said, come, this is the price. That whenever they came to arrest Master Farad Muhammad for what he was doing and teaching back in the 30s and 40s, he humbled himself to them and showed the messenger, ain't no sense in you not going peacefully. You submit and let them tell you what their charges against you are. Do you understand? Okay. But in this case, what the judge, when I got ready to, when I saw that I had to make a choice between staying in there and protected my daughter from the state, from being turned over to the state and then given back to her mama. Well, so I knew that's what they was doing. They was just taking my baby and giving it to the mama. Do you understand? Because mama had left me. And so, I chose the lesser of two evils, and so I let myself out of jail by sending word to bring my daughter back, and they let me out. And I was thinking about Judge Mershon. Tuesday, when he had that hearing, he could basically do that with Donald Trump. If Donald Trump stay quiet, so far he ain't did it no more. Well, if he stay quiet, then the judge is justified to give him the keys. Simply put, judges give sentences all of the time and then suspends them. You know what a yo-yo is, right? It's that thing suspended from a string, right? Okay, well, a suspended sentence is a sentence with a string to it. And he can get a string to Donald Trump and tell him, you violated my orders quite a few times. I'm going to sentence you to 30 days at, what's that, Rikers Island? Or wherever that thing is. But I'm going to suspend it. If you violate another order, and then I'd lay it out for him, all them excuses he made, trying to get around, I said, okay, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that. If you do any of those things again, violating my orders, straight to jail you go for 30 days. And this trial is still going to proceed. You'll just be listening in from court. From jail. See? Then if Donald Trump, well, he said, I ain't going to jail. I ain't going to jail. Well, it's in his hands after that, whether he go to jail or not. Do you understand? That's the way you deal with people like that. You see? Leave it up to him. You see, no other defendant would get that. But he is a unique defendant. And regardless of how you want to frame it, he's not the ordinary defendant. So he's not above the law, but he is a political figure that happens to be a former president of the United States. Ain't no former president of the United States been put on trial for criminal matters before. How many criminal defendants do you know of that's got Secret Service protection? Okay, so don't say and accuse people of, well, he should be treated just like us. No. He should be made to obey the law just like you. In the military, they teach you. How many of y'all saw, what was it? The Tuskegee Airmen? Not Red Tails, Tuskegee Airmen. You remember when the colonel, the black colonel was in there talking with the officers after them black pilots flew that Operation Shingle and took care of all them. You know, they did the job very well, and they got commended by the Army and the openly racist, bigoted colonel that was a general. He may have been a general. He said, "I wouldn't care if you shot down the whole German Luftwaffe. I still don't respect you." And the colonel, and the black colonel said, "I don't care." He said, "Respect the uniform." He said, "And believe me, that's all I respect." And sir, that's what he told him. And so you don't have to respect Donald Trump, but you do and you should respect the former president of the United States, the office itself. Do you understand? You see, that's why it was so important that all of these people understood that I'm the Son of Man. Now, if you want to treat me like you treat everybody else, you go ahead. But you do so to your own peril. A lot of them that came in here disrespected me. They found that out. Many of those who was my followers tried to judge me. They found that out. I'm not at your mercy. Don't you make that mistake. And all of you that's viewing me on the internet and whatnot, I'm not at your mercy. You at my mercy. Now, I'm not breaking laws of this country, because it is part of my teachings that you should do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. When Jesus said, "Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and God what belongs to God." That's doing unto others as you would have others do unto you. I don't think because I'm the Son of Man I can go out here and do 100 miles an hour on 61 and don't get pulled over. Do you know who I am? Yeah, I know who you are. You are a fool. That's who you are. Because you know that you can't do that. Especially you should know it, Mr. Son of Man. That's what he said to you. You know, I had officers stop me and before said, "Son of Man, you know, I felt stupid." It's like Officer Minor. I knew him. He pulled me over. I was going too fast. And, you know, I told him, "Go and write the ticket." You know, normally, no, write the ticket. Because I was wrong. You know, I'm not out here trying to get you to go along with me. I don't want nobody going along with me in my wrong. That ain't no help to nobody. How you gonna help me if you gonna help me do wrong? You're not my help. people that want to help you, they tell you, hey, you don't, what you doing? All them yes men around Donald Trump. His daddy didn't love him. His mama didn't love him. The people who supporting him don't love him. They don't give a damn about Donald Trump. They give a damn about how they can use him. Anybody that help you disgrace yourself do not care about you. If he had listened to me, I would have helped him. See, if you think these people care about you, just listen to them behind closed doors. Of course, how you gonna get people to care about you when you don't care about people? So if I was Judge Marshawn, I would sentence him to, I'd find him in contempt, and I'd sentence him, and I'd suspend him. Now, if he wind up in jail, I done warned him. I done suspended his sentence. Now, if he want to go to jail, it's on him. Do you understand? He got the key to either let himself in jail or stay out. And it's all on him. All right. So now let's see. How many of y'all disagree with me on that? I know y'all don't probably, but any of y'all that's listening, what fault you find in what I just said? Look, man, a judge can't just let you treat him like he don't exist. If he makes a ruling, a rule that's not enforced is not a rule. Just that simple. So the court has to be respected. And when I was in jail, I knew why I was in there. So I accepted the blame. Yeah, I did it, and I'm in here. But I still wasn't going to do what he said. Do you understand? You know? But, you know, anytime I wanted to get out, all I had to do was agree to do what he said. Do you understand? If he don't want to go to jail, just do what the court tell him. And let the trial begin. It ain't going to stop the trial if he go to jail. He ain't the one all he going to be doing is sitting there. The lawyers will show up in court, they got to. And they got to go on with his case, whether he's sitting in there or sitting in a cell. Do you understand? All right? So I, you know. See, you shouldn't, if you didn't want me to get involved in the legal system, you shouldn't have dragged me into it. You dragged me in there, and I learned how it go. So, you dragged me over here in slavery. I learned how that go. I done experienced all of this stuff. So you're going to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Shoot, I was born and raised in Christianity. Oh, you hypocrites sitting up out there pretending that you love Jesus. You lying. You're lying. I don't think I ever saw the point. Matter of fact, I don't remember ever thinking that it was a good thing that they killed Jesus. Never. How you celebrating that? Bunch of sadistic lunatics. Yeah, okay. See, they can't even defend themselves. You gonna convince me that murder is a good thing? While you threw a man in jail for making dogs fight and try to kill each other. You ain't forgot about Michael Vick. I didn't hear you. I know I didn't. Threw him in jail for making dogs fight each other. Then show you on Django they made men fight each other. And they didn't get put in jail. They got drunk while they was doing it. Made them fight and kill each other. And they still got men out there fighting each other. They put some gloves on and make it look like it's civilized, but it ain't. I don't know how long they've been knowing that football is dangerous to a man's brain. I don't know how long they've been knowing it, but I know they've been knowing it longer than they letting on. You understand? Okay. Let's see. Oh. I want all of you all to know this is found at www. that http://2 and then www.propheticroundtable.org/vision. And then, what is that lowercase line there? Hyphen? Huh? Underscore. Okay. Underscore of, and then another underscore, and then George underscore Washington.htm. It'll probably come up when you just put in propheticroundtable.org. But this was a vision of George Washington. He had a vision. Look, why do I believe that this was true? You have to have a basis for believing something. If somebody asks, okay, I'll show you an example. Why do you believe that a man that was murdered 2,000 years ago somehow was your salvation? Even if his name hadn't been Jesus, his name could have been Johnny. His name could have been Emmett or whatever. But you would have still been saying that this man's death, I believe, was my salvation. Now, my question to you is, why do you believe that? You want me to believe it. Why? Because when I read in the Bible where you say it was God's plan, the 11th chapter of the book of John, that's not what it says. In the 11th chapter of the book of John, it says, in the 45th verse, it says, then many of the Jews which came to Mary, and had seen the things which Jesus did. And they say they believed on him. You ain't met a Jew to this day that openly say he believed on Jesus. Now look at this. If they believed on him, why was they trying to kill him? And why were they going along with others who were trying to kill him? Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's a misprint. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed not on him. And some of them, not but some of them, and some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Jesus had done. Now it makes sense. I'm just reading it in a way that makes sense. And it says, now let's be honest. They said 12 disciples. And when push came to shove, they ran out on him. And where's all these people that believed on Jesus? Ain't that a good question? That's a legitimate and fair question to ask. Now, isn't it? What? It says, then, after they was informed on what Jesus had been doing, then gathered the chief priests, that's the religious people, and the Pharisees, a sect of Jews. And it says they gathered a council. They call a meeting, man. We don't say we gathered a council. They said we got to have a meeting. Huh? They had a meeting on Jesus. A council is when people give their advice on things. Huh? And they gathered a council and said, what are we going to do? Going to do about what? For this man is doing many miracles. And if we let him alone, if we let him keep this up, the Lord giveth, and what? And the Lord taketh away, right? Okay. Well, if the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, listen to what they said. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away our positions and the nation. Well, now you see why the Holy Quran says, take not the Jews and Christians for friends, for they are friends of each other. They obey each other. If you don't kill him, we gonna tell Caesar that you ain't Caesar's friend. We don't recognize no king but Caesar. Who was talking? The Jews. Caesar ordained them, the Roman Catholic Church. And they even show you that they the dragon. Every time they choose a new ruler, they send up smoke. Smoke ascended out of the bottomless pit. That's right. So, I mean, I'm not here to make up nothing. I'm here to clear up things. Now it says, look, any of y'all that disagree with me, you can talk to me. Ain't no big eyes and little U's in Islam. The truth rules us all. I was so glad that white man came in here and asked me, he said, are you trying to get people to worship you? And I told him, no. I'm trying to get you to worship the truth with me. He didn't say another word, did he? I'm scared to tell people to treat me in the place of God. You treat me as God's representative. And you keep your duty to God and obey me like he said. And if you obey me, whatever you do, I'll take the blame. Do you understand? You won't be blamed for doing what I told you to do. I'll take the blame for it. But if you ain't doing what I told you to do, don't lay it on me. Because I ain't going to take the blame. I didn't tell you to do that. I didn't even know you was over there doing that. No, get on back over there and handle it yourself. Since you know more than me. So it says, and one of them, named Caiaphas, he was the high priest. He was the pope. He was the high priest. Huh? What they call him now? They would call him the Pope, don't they? Okay. His name was Caiaphas. And he was being the high priest that same year. He said unto them, you understand nothing at all. You know nothing at all. Nor haven't even considered that it is expedient for us now look, have you thought about these people? Anytime we want food, we tell them that God needs a sacrifice. and they go and kill the fatted calf and lay it out and for us. I mean, we can get, these people believe that if you kill a cow, that absolve you from your sins. Could you believe they that stupid? But anyway, well, it's expedient for the people, expedient for us, that one man should die for the people. Let's just tell the people that he died for them. And so he said, nor have you considered that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. Huh? Better him than us. He just got to die. And this spake he not of himself. No, not him. He wasn't going to die for the people. But being the high priest, that year he prophesied that Jesus should die for that nation. So what are you worshiping? You worshiping the lie that was hatched 2,000 years ago to justify murdering Jesus. And not for that nation only. Now listen now. And not just die for them. Say he prophesied that Jesus' death was not just for that nation and for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. We're gonna make a martyr out of him and a saint, but he'll be a dead one, and we won't have to worry about him no more. Do you understand? Yeah, that's what they was doing, scheming on how they could kill him, and wouldn't nobody be upset. Then, from that day forth, they plotted together. They took counsel together for to murder Jesus, for to put him to death. Now you run around here talking about Jesus died for our sins. No, tell it like it is. Jesus was murdered so we could keep sinning. Do you understand? I mean, look, you get rid of everybody that's against your sins, then they saved you from being punished for your sins by being dead. Do you understand? So these people, they're a bunch of liars. The devil made evil fast seeming to you. You know, it's people that were hanging out here with me and was upset because they couldn't find no folk. That's what it's mad about. I had people say, well, how is he in private? It's you know, people don't want to change. Everybody want to go to heaven, but don't nobody want to change to go there. Nobody wants to die. I told you what death is. It's matter changing forms. Matter is eternal. These forms that we made ourselves from are everlasting. The matter is everlasting. From everlasting. And then when it don't hold its form no more, it returns to everlasting. And it just keeps on the cycle. You see? So now I'm still trying to get you to tell me why I should believe that Jesus died for my sins. How can I believe in something that I don't understand? And if somebody asks me why I believe it, I'll say, because so-and-so said it. Well, who is so-and-so? You talking about you believe. You got people lying, talking about they believe they going to go be with their grandmama and granddaddy again. And got people standing up telling them that. Don't you worry, baby. You're going to see him again. How many of them you done seen again? Baby, really? You might see them in your dream. But when you wake up, they gone. I tell you. Many times I done seen my mother again in my dreams. and my father. But when I woke up, they were gone. So why do I believe that this was George Washington's vision? It's because I heard something in the history of George Washington that I've never heard anyone contradict. That when George Washington was fighting in one particular battle, he was on a big white horse. And they was shooting at each other like they did in them days. They just stood up and just fired at each other. And they stand up there in the open. He riding back and forth on a big white horse and never got a scratch. Now, how is that? And I got something else that made me believe it. Because I had a vision. And visions, you don't have visions while you sleep. You have visions while you are awake. And I was walking and I saw all of the people walking around like zombies. And but before that, I saw traffic and everything just going, and I was out on the street, and my mind kept on flip-flopping back and forth, and I knew that something was wrong with me, and I just could not. I was that prophecy of whosoever seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life for my sake shall find it. And that was going through my mind while I was walking. And so I started reasoning about it. I said, well, if I try to lose my life, then it would mean I'm trying to save my life. And trying to figure it out how to do the right thing, but trying to save my life would mean I'd have to try to lose it. And if I do that, then that means I'm trying to save it. so I said, oh, the hell with it. And I didn't say that exact word. I said, oh, forget it. And I saw this Mack truck coming. And I stepped off the curb right in front of it, knowing it wasn't going to stop. And didn't even hear a screech or nothing. It just stopped. Then everything went back to normal. And then my mind was fine again. And so I know that I've had visions. And then in that same time period, that's when I had the vision of people walking around like zombies. And then I was asked, are you going back with them? I said, if that's where I belong. And because even then, it's not about me choosing to do a thing. It's about what does God or Allah want me to do. So if that's what he wants, that's what I'll do. It's just that simple. And so obviously I chose to submit, and Allah made me a warner to everybody. And so that's what I'm doing. But George Washington, I'm not surprised that he had a vision, because he had already proved his faithfulness. He believed in the cause that he was fighting for so much that he was able to inspire his men, kind of like what you saw Tombstone. You remember when Wyatt came out there when everybody was shooting, and he stood up while all the bullets and stuff was flying and kept saying no, no, and they just knew he should have been dead. But that gave them courage to get up out there. And so George Washington, by him being on that horse, just riding back and forth, what you think that did to the people who they was fighting? You know they was shooting at him. Say, this man ain't something wrong. Something ain't happening. You know that made their hearts palpitate. Because they're thinking that George Washington must have been superhuman or something. And so, but his army, they gained strength from that. And so as I was reading this, it made sense to me. And so I'm going to read it again. It says, Son of the Republic, look and learn. That's the title of it. It says, A Vision of George Washington. The birth, the progress, and the destiny of the United States. The father of our country, George Washington, was a man of prayer. Many of us have read of how he went to the thicket many times to pray during the winter his army was at Valley Forge. However, little publicity has been given to the vision and prophecy he received at that time. The account of this vision was given in 1859 by an old soldier. He gave it to a writer, Wesley Bradshaw, who published it. In the vision, God revealed to George Washington that 3 great perils would come upon the Republic. He was given to know that America was going through the first peril at that time. The old soldier who told the story of the vision said the nation would soon see the account verified by the second peril descending upon the land. We give the account here as printed in the U.S. War Veterans paper, the National Tribune, in December of 1880. The National Tribune became, today, the Stars and Stripes as a newspaper. And this article was later reprinted in that publication. I do not know whether it is owing to, I'm just going to read it in our present day language so that we, it says, I do not know whether it is because of the anxiety of my mind or what, but this afternoon, as I was sitting at this table, engaging in preparing a message, a letter, a dispatch, something in the apartment seemed to disturb me. Looking up, I beheld standing opposite to me a singularly beautiful being. So astonished was I, for I had given strict orders not to be disturbed, that it was some moments before I found language to inquire the cause of the visit. A second, a third, and even a fourth time did I repeat my question, but received no answer from my mysterious visitor, except a slight raising of the eyes. By this time, I felt strange sensations spreading through me. I would have risen, but the riveted gaze of the being before me rendered movement impossible. I tried once more to speak, but my tongue became useless, as if paralyzed. A new influence, mysterious, potent, and irresistible, took possession of me. All I could do was to gaze steadily, vacantly, at my unknown visitor. Gradually, the surrounding atmosphere seemed to fill with sensations and grew brighter, luminous. Everything about me seemed to rarefy. The mysterious visitor also becoming more airy and yet more distinct to my sight than before. I began to feel as if I was dying, or rather to experience the sensation I sometimes imagine accompanying death. That is a truthful statement. For how would you know how dying feels if you never died? And if you had died, you wouldn't be able to tell how it feels. So he acknowledged that it was how he imagined the sensation of death would be. These are the kind of things that tells me that this account is worth taking seriously. And it says, I did not think, I did not reason, I did not move. It's just like when I experienced what the scripture says, the wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, and canst not tell from whence it cometh or whither it goeth. I experienced that. And at that time, I couldn't do nothing but experience it. I was just laying in the middle of the floor in my living room and not moving, because I had just picked up the scriptures, and then that happened to me. And so it says, and I was only conscious of gazing fixedly on my companion. Presently I heard a voice say, Son of the Republic, look and learn. While at the same time my visitor extended an arm eastward. I now beheld a heavy white vapor at some distance, rising, fold upon fold. This gradually dissipated, and I looked upon the strange scene before me. Before me lay out in one vast plain all the countries of the world: Europe, Asia, Africa, and America. I saw rolling and tossing between Europe and America lay billows of the Atlantic, and between Asia and America lay the Pacific. Son of the Republic, said the same mysterious voice as before, look and learn. At that moment, I beheld a dark, shadowy being, like an angel, standing, or rather floating in midair, between Europe and America, dipping water out of the ocean in the hollow of each hand. He sprinkled some upon America with his right hand, while with his left he cast some over Europe. Immediately a cloud arose from these countries and joined in mid-ocean. For a while it remained stationary, and then it moved slowly westward until it enveloped America in its murky folds. Sharp flashes of lightning gleamed through the cloud at intervals, and I heard the smothered groans and cries of the American people. A second time, the angel dipped water from the ocean and sprinkled it out as before. The dark cloud drew back to the ocean, in whose heaving billows it sank from view. A third time, I heard the mysterious voice saying, "Son of the Republic, look and learn." I cast my eyes upon America and beheld villages and towns and cities spring up, one right after another, until the whole land from the Atlantic to the Pacific was dotted with them. Again I heard the mysterious voice say, Son of the Republic, the end of the century cometh. Look and learn. And this time, a dark, shadowy angel turned his face southward. From Africa, I saw an ill-omened spectre approach our land. It flitted slowly and heavily over every town and city of the country. The inhabitants presently set themselves in battle array against each other. As I continued to look, I saw a bright angel on whose brow was traced the word Union. He was bearing the American flag, and he placed the flag between the divided nation and said, "Remember, you are brethren." Instantly the inhabitants, casting down their weapons, became friends once more and united around the national standard. Again I heard a mysterious voice say, "Son of the Republic, look and learn." At this, the dark, shadowy angel placed a trumpet to his mouth and blew 3 distinct blasts. And taking water from the ocean, he sprinkled it upon Europe, Asia, and Africa. Then my eyes beheld a fearful scene. From each of these continents rose thick black clouds that were soon joined into one. And throughout this mass there gleamed a dark red light, by which I saw hordes of armed men. These men, moving with the cloud, marched by land and sailed by sea to America, which country was enveloped in the volume of the cloud. And I dimly saw these vast armies devastate the whole country and burn the villages, the towns and cities, which I had seen spring up. As my ears listened to the thundering of the cannon, clashing of swords, and the shouts and cries of millions in mortal combat. I again heard the mysterious voice saying, "Son of the Republic, look and learn." When the voice had ceased, the dark shadowy angel placed his trumpet once more to his mouth and blew a long and fearful blast. Instantly, a light as of 1,000 suns shone down from above me and pierced and broke into fragments of the dark cloud which enveloped America. At the same moment, the angel upon whose head still shone the word Union, and who bore our national flag in one hand and a sword in the other, descended from the heavens, attended by legions of white spirits. These immediately joined the inhabitants of America, who I perceived were well nigh overcome, but who immediately, taking courage again, closed up their broken ranks and renewed the battle. Again, amid the fearful voice of the conflict, I heard the mysterious voice say, "Son of the Republic, look and learn." As the voice ceased, the shadowy angel for the last time dipped the water from the ocean and sprinkled it upon America, and instantly the dark clouds rolled back, together with the armies it had brought, leaving the inhabitants of the land victorious. Then once more I beheld the villages, towns, cities springing up where I had seen them before, while the bright angel planted the azure. Azure is a bluish purple color. It says the azure standard. When you see a pretty blue sky, that is generally a sign of a serene day. And so it says, who planted the azure standard, cried with a loud voice, while the stars, this angel, it says, cried with a loud voice, while the stars remain and the heavens send down dew upon the earth, so long shall the Union last. And taking from his brow the crown which blazoned the word Union, he placed it down upon the standard, while the people kneeling down said, Amen. And the scene instantly began to fade and dissolve, and I at last saw nothing but the rising and curling vapor I at first beheld. This also disappeared, and I found myself once more gazing upon the mysterious visitor, who in the same voice I heard before said, Son of the Republic, what you have seen is thus interpreted. 3 great perils will come upon the Republic. The most fearful for her is the 3rd. But the whole world united shall not prevail against her. Let every child of the Republic learn to live for his God, his land, and union. It says, With these words, the vision vanished, and I started from my seat and felt that I had seen a vision wherein had been shown the destiny of the United States. So, and a lot of this is being fulfilled right now. I've been reminding you that as President Obama and Joe Biden have reminded this people that you are the United States of America, not the red and blue states. And look what just happened in the Congress. Mike Johnson, for whatever reason, decided that it was time to stop the BS and stand for what this country has been boasting that it stands for ever since its inception. This country didn't come into existence by standing for tyranny. It came into existence by standing against tyranny. It did not come into existence by disrecognizing the rights of the individual to be recognized by those in power. It came into existence recognizing those rights, recognizing that the individual is the basis for a nation just as much as the individual cell is the basis for your body. And when you understand that, look what they tell you about one cell of cancer can destroy your body. One cell, if left unchecked. You let any one individual threaten your Constitution and threaten the laws that govern your nation and that were so painstakingly put together to make sure that individuals have freedoms. But they must exercise, in order to keep those freedoms, they must exercise those freedoms with what is that word? Responsible conduct. When you ask a man, why are you attacking the government? That you say the government is no good. But the very government that you are attacking allows you to say that. Why do you need to overthrow it? Why don't you say what they are doing that is no good and offer proof of it? If you accuse a person of something, they have already told you that the burden of proof is not on the one who is accused. It is on the one who did the accusing to prove that their accusation is founded in truth. Do you understand? When they were asked in Jesus' day and time, who shall I release unto you? They said Barabbas. Pilate didn't ask why. He released him. They said, well, what do you want me to do with Jesus? They said, let him be crucified. And Pilate said, why? What has he done? Let him be crucified. We wouldn't have brought him to you if he hadn't done something. But they never said what he did. You got these people out here they are accusing the very government that gave them the freedom of speech. They upset because their freedom of speech is not the freedom to incite insurrection. So you want to use the very freedoms that you were given in the government of this people. You want to use those freedoms to destroy the people's government? And then pat yourself on the back? What that boy said that got on there when Ari Melba was interviewing him, and he said we was going to do the Green Bay sweep, and it was legal. And Ari said, do you know you was just inspiring, talking about a coup? You was just talking about overthrowing the government. He said, no, everything was legal. Telling on himself without realizing it. We want to use the legal system. Is that what he's saying? We want to use the legal system to destroy the legal system. Ain't we smart? That's what he was saying. And then when you ask them, what is the real problem? The real problem is they lost an election that put a crimp in what they wanted to do systematically and slowly by replacing patriots with traitors. Do you understand? I saw this rodeo once with the Nation of Islam, the said Nation of Islam. Wasn't nobody able to overthrow the Nation of Islam from the outside. That had to be done from the inside. You heard W.D. Muhammad, he confessed. Let me see here. He never believed in the teachings. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Just a moment. I like to that's not the one.
I heard on the radio that Malcolm had been killed, murdered. Without thinking, I told my wife, I said, I have to call Daddy. He came to the phone. He said, Assalamu alaikum, Mom. I said, Alaikum assalam, Daddy. I said, tomorrow is Savior's Day. I said, I want to be on the platform with you tomorrow. That's your Savior's Day. He said, that's good, son. I said, well, you know what that means.
Just a moment. I want to slow it down so I'm going to keep jumping back. There. Yeah. Okay.
I said, yes, sir. He said, you have to come before the people and tell them you were wrong. I said, yes, sir. Hung up.
I'm going to bring before you the messenger of Allah's son, Brother Wallace D. Muhammad, who wants to make a confession. Brother Wallace D.
In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, may his peace and blessings be upon his messenger, my father, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
I ain't want to hear that part. I want to hear him talk about
away from family, away from the temple of Islam.
yeah.
I was knocking to destroy. In my ignorance, I was knocking to repair. But I made a great mistake, and I'm sorry for it. Assalamu alaikum.
So now he was saying that he wasn't knocking to destroy, he was knocking to repair. But he made a great mistake and he was sorry. Now, what he was really feeling was none of that. He just wanted to get back in because he was scared after Malcolm, after he saw what happened to Malcolm. Do you understand? Okay, now listen to this.
Elijah Muhammad prohibited all members of the Nation of Islam from serving in the U.S. military, which he called the white man's army. Wallace Muhammad was charged with draft evasion and in 1961 began serving a 3-year prison sentence.
I was in San Antonio Federal Correctional Institution, free, away from family, away from the temple of Islam, demands on my time. I'm free. I was in San Antonio Federal Correctional Institution, free, away from family, away from the temple of Islam, demands on my time. I'm free.
Now here's a man that hated the nation so much and wasn't man enough to just leave. But he said jail was better than that. He was free. And he's the man that took over the nation when the messenger wasn't here no more. At least took over what he thought was the nation. For the messenger said the nation was honeycombed with hypocrites. That was letting you know right there it wasn't no nation of Islam. Ain't no hypocrites in Islam. No. The messenger wasn't here to raise up a nation. The messenger was here to raise up the Lord who would build the nation. Do you understand? Okay.
Freed from the contradictions of the nation's faith, Wallace Muhammad is left alone to face himself.
Certain ideas that would come under theology had become so unattractive to me, I had to throw it out. You have a nice garment, you really like this garment, and it's a strong sentimental attachment to it, you know? But it's getting old, got old. Everybody's getting old. So you're not going out there. You say, I'm not going out anymore with this song. I got to throw this away. As much as I like it, I have to throw it away. And the most difficult thing was to say the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not the messenger of God, not the messenger of Allah. That was very difficult. But I had to say that. And the most difficult thing was to say the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not the messenger of God, not the messenger of Allah. That was very difficult. But I had to say that. And the most difficult thing was to say the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not the messenger of God, or the messenger of Allah. That was very difficult. But I have to say that. Now, I'm not only having difficulty saying my father is no more this high figure here in religion and bringing him down to a low level with preachers and reformers rather than as the messenger of God. But I'm having difficulty too rejecting what they told me about myself, that you were chosen before you were born. So now that's a high place for me too, that I'm chosen before I was born, and I'm supposed to be one of three doing this great work. God in the person or in the flesh, Elijah Muhammad, the messenger of God, and me.
But Wallace Muhammad had his own agenda. Almost immediately, he began moving the community towards Orthodox Islam.
How it brought about the change, the transformation, it was finding first something from those people that they respected, those high figures that they respected, Mr. Barak and Elijah Muhammad. I got whatever they had given me to do the job, but I took that first. And then I added to that, I built upon that, and that's how it was done. I didn't come to them and telling them that this is a lie. No, that wouldn't work. They'd throw me out of here, and I wouldn't blame them.
See? That's, I mean, he laid it out. So he never believed in the messenger. Who was the people that he was around that was showing him it was holes in the teaching? A lot of them was in the messenger's family. You think that that everybody that was in the family of the messenger, how many of my family members have you met that follow me? I had brothers and sisters, but they don't believe I'm the Son of Man. Even some of them don't know that my children told me. They came up to them when I wasn't around, and they tried to tell them, well, you know, if you get tired of this, you can come live with us. Telling my children they can come live with them. But I don't hate them. I just hate what they did. I hate the fact that they grin up in my face and then try to tell I didn't get with their children behind their back and say whatever I had to say to them. I said it in front of them. What am I doing right now? I'm teaching you, my few followers. But I'm teaching you in front of the whole world to show you I ain't afraid and I'm not ashamed of what I'm teaching. If you ain't man enough to stand by your own doctrine, you ain't no man. Same with you. You ain't no woman if you can't stand behind your own word. You go bring whoever you want to me. I'll tell them what I told you. I am the Son of Man until you show me that I'm not. And it's going to take more than your nasty mouth. You're going to have to take the word of God and show me that I'm not his servant. Because I can take his word and show you that I am. Yeah. Sitting up there faking. I couldn't go in there and tell him that all that was a lie. They ran me out of there. So he added to the messenger's teachings what the messenger did not say. Talking about the messenger was preparing to take us into Orthodox Islam. And the messenger said just the opposite. The messenger said Islam of Muhammad of 1400 years ago served that time. We need a new Islam to serve this day. He said, and my mission is to acquaint all black people on earth into the knowledge of a new God and new Islam. It will be a new world altogether. Now, anybody want to challenge that saying? How you going to have a new world with old world teachings? I tell you what, you're going to build a new skyscraper, but you're going to have the blueprint for the Empire State Building. So you're going to build a new skyscraper, right? You ain't building no new skyscraper. You rebuilding the new Empire State Building. You see my point? It's just like people, they come to me and they wonder, well, where do y'all do you have where y'all have prayer at? I say, any place we feel like it. I have prayer at home, or I have prayer when I'm on a job site or whatever. You know, well, don't y'all stop in the middle of it? Not really. Because what I'm doing is a prayer. My life and my death is all for Allah. The things that I'm building is Allah's instruction that I'm following. I tell Allah to guide me. That's what I pray for, His guidance. And He guide me into putting up a school for our children. They need a cafeteria, they got one. Soon they gonna have the cafeteria ain't gonna be doubling for a meeting hall. Then they will understand what this place was really built for. In the auditorium, and that will be a substitute for our meeting hall. But we build multi-purpose things because we don't have the resources to put up specialty things. So we build multi-purpose things and use them for more than one purpose. Do you understand? So, but, I recognize the need for things. But when you have limited resources, you have to put the resources where the greatest need is. Do you understand? And that's what we're doing. Those who are with me, that, it's just like my followers, my true followers, they're not satisfied to just stagnate themselves on one little thing they give me. They're always trying to improve and do more because they want to see this progress. Those who don't do that, they just hanging out. It's like leaves on a tree. They one day will leave because their heart ain't in this. It's like me. Why didn't I leave with the rest of them that was in the nation, went different ways when the messenger wasn't here no more? I didn't leave the nation. The nation left me. I didn't stop believing. I'm still doing what I said I believed. No, I don't. I ain't never gonna quit until if I die, then I'll quit. But you will probably find me somewhere dead while I was working, doing what I believe in. If that's meant for me, but I'm not going to leave my belief in Allah and His Islam. His Islam. My life and my death is all for Allah. And those who feel that way, they understand that. Because we're brothers. And we're brethren. You see, when you use the term brethren, you are talking about sisters and brothers. Because we were all rent from our parents. Brethren. You see? Do you understand? That's what we are. I got a navel, which tells you I was one day, at one time, I was connected to an umbilical cord of a mother. You got a navel, which means you was connected by an umbilical cord to a mother. And we were both rent asunder from her. They cut the cord, and it became our navel. Do you understand? All right. So in that sense, we are brethren. See? And so it's many things that, you know, when you start to speak to one another pretty soon, you will be speaking English, but not the English that these people recognize. Right now, people speak English, and it's not the English that other people. Lawyers speak a different English. Electrical engineers speak a different English than the people that are not. And that's in all cultures. It's just that simple. But I want y'all to grow with me. Wasn't that something with George Washington? So now, it's just like when he said the angel of the azure, and put the crown of union on. What do we call this place that we live in? No, I say this is a place on earth. But what is the general place that we all inhabit? The universe. The union. It's all one. And on a clear day, the azure is crowned with this. The sun, moon, and stars is over this. Do you understand? And the messenger said we can no more go around making mock of one another. He said, cut it out. We are all brothers and sisters. That's what that angel said on here. That you are brethren. There's no such thing as white Muslim, black Muslim, brown Muslim, yellow. That's just Muslim. Do you understand? No more division. When you look at sunlight, you don't say blue light, green light, yellow light, red light. It's sunlight. You can break it up and see the different colors in it. But it wasn't meant to be seen like that. It was meant to be seen as one. Union. I'm so glad that you have people in this country that the type of people that can proudly say they are the descendants of the founding fathers, or the best of what was in the founding fathers. I'm not trying to say that them people was perfect. Them people had us as slaves. But that don't take away from the fact that they knew slavery was wrong. Do you understand? I remember when I was growing up, it was older men that would be sitting down, you know, that you call winos, or, you know, sitting out there bums. And, you know, sometimes they'd be using drugs. And I'd walk by, and they'd look up at me and say, look, young blood, you see me? I say, yes, sir. You don't want to do this. They may have been too weak to stop themselves, but they did advise me, you see me? You don't want to be like this. So I thank them for that, because it obviously had some kind of effect on me, because I didn't do that. And maybe it was because I saw what happened to them. Ants do that. Ants will carry a piece of poison until it kills them. And then another ant will pick it up and carry it until it kills him. And they keep carrying it until they get it to the queen and feed it to her. And then she produces a whole generation of ants that poison will not kill. You know, my mother carried Christianity. And while she was pregnant with me, she was serious about Christianity. But I somehow developed an immunity to it. Unlike some of my siblings. They still in it. I never accepted it. I've never accepted things just because somebody told me to. I accepted it because I felt I understood, and that's when I accepted it. I think that if the white people of this country really understood the value of what they had, people like Donald Trump wouldn't stand a chance of overthrowing their government. One simple question would end that. What do you have that's better? Well, I'll be a dictator that will do that. No, we done been on a dictator before. We fought a war to get out from under a dictator. We know what we capable of. Where you think the phrase came from, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely? Where you think they got that from? Their own history. No, I ain't gonna give you no absolute power over nobody. We see what you do when you think you got power. Look what you did. No. No, sir. Only one that I trust with absolute power over me is God. Because it ain't nothing I can do for him. do you understand? He don't need me to do nothing for him. I need him to do things for me. So he's welcome to all the power he wants. Do you understand? So, all praises due to Allah. And anyone who he chooses and sends to me, I can trust him. Do you understand? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was trustworthy. You see? I'm trustworthy. I'm able to handle people's trust without abusing it. Even though some of them abuse my trust. But I ain't gonna let you abuse my trust to the point where I'm gonna let you take somebody else down with you. That's why I told y'all, don't you put nobody between me and you. You hear me? Okay. I'm your Savior. And if you get that mixed up, you're going to be sorry. Okay. Let's see. Oh, it's some other things I wanted to show you that I'm going to show you now. This was really something. Oh, they found the, they got the jury selected, and the judge say the opening arguments will begin Monday. Now that is to restore people's, you look how long it took to legally get Donald Trump to court. Huh? You know, he had lots of money. They got a saying in this country. How much justice can you afford? If you got enough money, you can tie cases up for years. You can slow it down. The wheels of justice, they turn at a very slow pace because you don't want to rush to judgment. You want the whole country to see how judgment took place. It's just like with the judgment of the world. Look how long I stand up and talk, and how much I let people dispute and put forth their disagreements and whatnot. And as long as they respect my authority, they can talk. You can tell when a person comes in here and knows that they don't have any real argument. They will disrespect the forum, knowing that I'm going to put them out, and then they will go out and lie and say, he wouldn't let me talk. But they can't say that in here because I took that argument away from them. Because everybody knows that if you really have something that is factual and worthwhile that you want to say, and all that's required is that you show respect to the one who is handling the meeting or whatever. All you have to do is just wait until they say you can speak. And if they cut you off and you were making a point and they just keep cutting you off and not really disproving anything you're saying, then the people going to look at them and know that they the one that's wrong. Like the people at New Bowers Church. I'd be talking. Geno Jennings, the same thing. As I was talking, he'd start talking. I'd just be quiet. Okay. I know you in charge, but you keep cutting me off. You know, Neubauer did the same thing. But when it was over with, the people knew who was wrong. You can't lie on me. You say you got something that you can disprove that what I'm teaching is wrong. Come on. But know this. I'm going to make you conduct yourself like I conduct myself. And that is, if I say something that you don't think rings true, you can stop me and say, hey, wait a minute now. Where you getting that from? And if I let you do me like that, why can't I do you like that? Without being accused of cutting you off. I don't know of any teacher that accused the student of cutting them off because the student was lost on something they said and said, wait a minute, I don't understand what you just said here. How you come to that? The teacher didn't say, don't cut me off. The teacher answered the question. Don't send you coming in here thinking you can throw no smoke screens up in here. You answer my question. And if you're not ready to answer questions, don't create them. Anytime a person asks a question about something that you said, you created that question. So you ain't mastered what you created? You're a mighty poor creator. Yeah. All you have to do is be a good listener. Ain't nobody got to tell you. You ain't got to sit there and try to think up no questions. Listen to what the person is saying. You may not need to ask any questions. Don't be stupid. The more people listen to me, the fewer questions they have. Because I am a teacher. So. Yes.
Do you want to question this now on the topic?
Just a moment.
Yes.
Tell them to hold that. I'll let them ask it before I go off. But I saw something on here today.
Welcome back. Donald Trump's hush money election interference trial is resuming, and back with us are Yasmin Dasugian outside the courthouse. And so, Yasmin, what's happening there right now?
Yeah, so they got up and going. They resumed court just a couple of minutes ago, about 6 minutes or so, coming back from this lunch break. They're getting into the Sandoval hearing from what I'm seeing here. And let me just walk folks through, because we saw a filing on about 2 days ago from the prosecution as to what was going to, what this would entail, what the Sandoval hearing would entail. And this is essentially a hearing in which they present how cross-examination would look if, in fact, the former president and his attorneys together decided that he would take the stand in his own testimony. So they're establishing really a pattern of behavior, Anna, it seems, in this Sandoval hearing, and what they would do in cross. And they would be presenting, for instance, the conviction of the Trump Corporation, Trump Payroll Corporation as well, lying under oath, the judgment from Judge Engoron with the Trump civil fraud trial.
Now, many people, they don't understand the American justice system. And so people who are looking at that need to understand that that's the way the American justice system works. That you can't ambush people in court. If you are, the idea is that the truth defends itself. If the truth is against you, you ain't gonna have no defense. Do you understand? So, a person, for instance, if Donald Trump was to take the stand, the prosecutors, they are actually, they are saying that this is what we will be asking Donald Trump about if he decides to take the stand. And the judge will allow some of it, And a judge will say, no, that's too prejudicial. It's just like they was talking about playing that Access Hollywood tape. And does that actually have anything to do with Stormy Daniels? But when people see it, it makes Donald Trump look bad. So that's called prejudicial. The people don't need to see that, because that ain't what he's on trial for. Do you understand? And so, you know, you have to admire the fact that they are keeping it strictly on the... Have you ever been talking to somebody and they brought up something that didn't have nothing to do, that happened a long time ago with you or whatever, and they keep bringing that back up? That can get on your last nerve, can't it? Say, why you keep bringing that up? That ain't got nothing to do with this. You see the point now. See? The laws in this country are common sense laws. Most people, when husbands and wives or brothers and sisters argue with each other, they hate for you to bring up something that is not a repeat. It's not something that you doing again. They just bring it up as though that's got something to do with now. You need to let that stuff go. I can't keep paying and paying and paying for something I don't already pay for. That's double jeopardy. Huh? That's been tried, and the sentence was carried out, and it's been executed, so leave it alone. So, you know, that's the kind of thing that make you realize what you have here. A system that no matter who you are, you have rights. And those rights a court must uphold, regardless to how they feel about you personally. Do you understand? There you go.
They kind of want to establish this pattern of behavior for the former president. If we think about some of the other testimony that we are expecting from some other key witnesses here, for instance, Michael Cohen, right? We know, for instance, the defense is going after Michael Cohen's character, right? What we're hearing from prosecution is, for instance, Michael Cohen, when he is to take the stand, they're going to focus less on his character and more about documentation, right? They're going to be presenting Michael Cohen with a lot of documents.
You see, if I was to put Michael Cohen on there, I'd love for the defense to attack his character, because all of that character that they attacking him for, him and Donald Trump was together. I mean, while you attacking him, you showing that your client, these is the kind of people your client was hanging out with. I wouldn't go there if I was there. But, you know, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that. I ain't gonna say nothing.
And saying, yes, no, is this accurate, is this not accurate, to take the kind of limelight off of...
See here. I want to let you hear some of this other stuff.
To pick juries, it's astonishing that in a case of this import, that the judge was able, in not even a full week of work, mind you, just 4 days, to pick a jury in arguably one of the foremost critically important criminal cases.
The reason that the jury didn't take so long to pick is because everybody knows Donald Trump. And because everybody knows Donald Trump, the question about do you know the defendant, I mean, that's a crazy question. Of course everybody knows him. But just because everybody know you don't mean they can't sit in judgment of you. So the proper question is, we know you know this man. because he was the president of the United States at one time. Now, you may have personal feelings about this man. Can you put that aside and base your verdict not on what you think about him outside of this courtroom, but on the evidence that you hear in this courtroom? Can you narrow your judgment strictly to what you heard in this courtroom? And if you can't do that, then you can't sit on the jury. But most people can do that if they are asked that by a judge. And understand, because a judge, he will explain it to them. In the first place, if you was the defendant, would you want something other than the evidence that is presented in the courtroom to be used against you? No, you wouldn't. So you don't do that to anyone. You see? And so that is, because I could sit on the jury for him. And if I didn't think that they presented enough evidence to show me that he was guilty of what they charged him with, I say he's a low-down scoundrel, but I can't go with you on that one. It's just that simple. I need to know that what you accusing him of, you had the evidence to prove it. Because that's what I would want if I was on trial. Do you understand? So how hard is it to pick a jury when everybody know the person and you ain't got to weed out them kind of people? So, since I done changed the subject, I'll let you ask the question that the man wanted to ask me.
Yes, sir. He asked, can you please explain Proverbs chapter 6, verse 27?
Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Well, you have to remember what led up to that. Anytime you practice anything evil and wickedness, then you receive the reward of that. And whether you realize it or not, the first time you violate a principle of yours is the hardest. When you violate it once, you're going to violate it again. And it's easier the next time. And the next. Like fire, it's hard to get started, but once it catches you, it gets easier and more. You know what kindling is. Once you kindle that fire, it keeps burning until there's nothing else to burn. The wages of sin. So the question is asked. It says, when you lust after evil things, when you desire evil things, for evil things sometimes come in a beautiful package. They appear as I'll show you an example. If somebody put, which I've given you this example before, if you put paper, glue, and dried tobacco leaves and crumble it up on a saucer and light it and tell somebody, here, breathe this, they'd slap it out your hand and say, what's wrong with you? But if you take that same paper and glue and roll it up and make it pretty and put it in a package and tell them, here, you want to buy some paper and glue, but they didn't call it something else. He stuck a feather in his cap, but he didn't call it a feather in his cap. He called it macaroni. Okay, he sticks some dried leaves, paper, and glue in a pack, and he didn't call it paper, glue, and dried leaves. Nobody gonna want that. Cigarette. And then they buy it, pay $5 for it, and they light it themselves and breathe it. And because it's packaged pretty and made to seem popular. And so, but it says, lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. Let's go back and see where Solomon led with this. Let's start at the 20th verse. Remember, at the 20th verse of the 6th chapter, it says, my son, keep thy father's commandment, and forsake not the law of nature, thy mother nature. It says, there again, the first mind that God made was natural, mother. The last is the Lord from heaven, Father, the protector of mother. Do you understand? Because nature's the very point of nature, everything you do, everything that, just like these bodies are pulled to the earth by gravity. Do you understand? In all your life, there's a tug of war going on between you and gravity until finally you in the grave. Do you understand? And so, I mean, it is kind of funny when you think about it. The flesh, the matter, is trying to reunite with where it came from. You see, so if you follow that, it's going to take you back. Do you understand? People eat themselves to death. People drink themselves to death. People overindulge and they kill themselves. Death is not a force. Like darkness. Darkness is not a force. Darkness is the absence of light. It is the effect of the absence of light. Death is the absence of life to that particular form. If you know how to preserve that form, you don't die. But anyway, it says, my son, see how all of them talk to their son? That's why he had to ask me what this just means. It says, my son, keep thy father's commandment. My father is the truth. I am the Son of Man. So all of the messengers of God, they were my tutors. Spiritual fathers, so to speak. It says, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Bind them continually upon thine heart, and tie them about thy neck. When thou goest, it shall lead thee. When thou sleepest, it shall keep thee. And when thou, I remember I was having a dream, and when things wasn't going right in the dream, I was up walking, and I knew I was dreaming. And I kept trying to slap myself to wake myself up, and I couldn't wake up. And but it was funny in a way, because I realized that it wasn't right. It just, this is a dream, and I was trying to wake myself up out of the dream. So I see this. That's the truth. It says, and when thou goest, it shall lead thee, and when thou sleepest, it shall keep thee. And when thou awakest, it shall talk with thee. Yes. The law of God and the law of nature both speaks with me. See, for both of them are God's laws. You see, the law of my father and the law of my mother. You see? And it said, for the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light. The law is the understanding of the commandment. Then it says, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. That's right. What is the scriptures for? Instructions. Yes. Wisdom. It says, to keep thee from the evil woman. The evil woman now you know is the evil education. The evil schools. The evil company that you may be out there keeping. It says, to keep thee from the evil woman that makes evil fast seeming. Huh? From the flatterer of the tongue of a strange woman. You know, the brain can be called the woman because it is the womb of man, of mind. Do you understand? See, knowledge goes into the brain. You see, it enters in to the brain like the life germ enters into the womb of the woman. You understand? So, and it says, lust not after her beauty in thine heart. Be not envious of evildoers. I don't care how well they seem to be living. I don't care how well they seem to be doing. In the end, it ain't going to be well. It won't end well. You can be going down, you can be going downhill and say, man, I'm breaking speed records. But if it's a wall at the end of that, it ain't going to end well for you. You better slow your roll. Is that right? Yeah. You know, a plane can be heading down and, you know, speeding and, you know, going at tremendous speeds. What is the point if you can't land it safely? No. So, neither let her take thee with her eyelids, for by means of a whorish woman a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. If you're not true to what you say you believe, you will be drawn away from it to your destruction. They're like people that like to be praised. If you love praise, you headed for a fall. But that's your weakness. And by your weakness is where germs and stuff enter in. Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? No. The minute you start taking evil into your mind and accepting it, your clothing of righteousness is being burnt off. We have indeed sent down clothing to cover your shame. Clothing for beauty. But if you start thinking evil is beauty, then the true beautiful clothing is going to get burnt up. It's just that simple. Okay. Now I'll let y'all. We ain't got but a few more minutes. Y'all bear with me. But I wanted you to hear something here.
Showed up and just continued to whine. and Donald Trump shows up, and then he starts sleeping in the court, and just the whole thing. But this was a scene from earlier in the day where one of Trump's MAGAs, Chip Roy, starts shouting, and Tom Suozzi, the Democratic Congress member who was just elected in New York's 3rd Congressional District, who just won that race right there. Here's what he had to say. He took over George Santos' seat after George Santos was kicked out. Just watch this, because it's just a return to normalcy by Democratic Congressmember Suozzi. Play this clip.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Suozzi is recognized. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Roy, the histrionics and the hyperbole are not working. You just said so yourself. It's not working. We're about to pass. It's not working. It's not working. The bottom line is... The gentleman will suspend. House will be in order.
Returning to the court proceedings as well, Maggie Haberman reports that Donald Trump continued to fall asleep during the proceedings as well. And, what I'm hearing from my sources as well is that, and I'm hearing from credible sources who know what's going on in the courtroom. And what I'm hearing is that, take it for what it's worth, but that Donald Trump is actually farting in the courtroom, and that it's very stinky around him. It's a putrid odor in the courtroom, and that Trump's lawyers are like repulsed by the scent and the smell. And I'm not just saying that to be like, oh, funny. I'm actually, we have good sources there. And I'm hearing it from actual credible people that as he's kind of falling asleep, he is actually passing gas, and that his lawyers are really struggling with the smell. I think you'll actually start to hear more of that, but again, from real credible sources. Now, take it for what it's worth. They may be...
See, now, this is what accompanies people who decide that God is a joke. They become the joke. Yeah. You can't make no joke out of Allah, lest you get disgraced. Now, he's sitting up in court, just stinking it up. Now, that gives credibility to them people that say he wears diapers and messes on himself. So, I wouldn't want to be him. I wouldn't care if he had trillions of dollars. I would not want it at that cost. No, sir. You ain't got no mind. What profiteth a man to gain the world and go crazy? Everybody know your soul is your mind. In actuality, it's just like the sole of a shoe. Most people don't give no thought to the soles of your shoe. They look at the top. And most people don't give no thought to the mind of other people. They look at the appearance. But the true soul of you is your mind. You lose that, it's the same as when that shoe that don't nobody pay no attention to the soul. When it wear out, that shoe ain't no good no more. Is that right? There you go. When your mind go, your body ain't no good to nobody no more. Not even you. That's why he can't hardly string a sentence together. And the people that follow him, they going down like a person that don't got sense enough to swim away from a ship that's sinking. They get pulled in by the undertow. Do you understand? Too late to swim away. It's just like when I don't know what Mike Johnson's story is. Maybe he woke up. Maybe he wants to be a patriot now and has got some backbone. I don't know. But I don't trust him. He gonna have to show me that that he means it when he say he want to do what's right for the country. Because what Mike Johnson need to do is support, like he's doing, have them votes for support of Ukraine and all of those allies of the United States. And then, after that, find a true patriot that don't have no baggage, and support that person to take that seat that he has. Because, I mean, he was up there, I mean, just going along with whatever a traitor. Donald Trump is a traitor. Now, you ain't gonna tell me he's not. I saw how he conducted himself with Putin. Everybody saw it. I seen what he did when he was president. He started purposely ruining the reputation of the United States. Backing out of agreements that the U.S. president had made with Iran about that nuclear thing. I mean, what he did with Canada, trying to make Canada pay tariffs on the steel that they sent over. Just crazy stuff. Steel coming from Canada wasn't hurting this country. Reciprocity is never a bad thing. I don't even have to be in the government to know that Canada was buying as much as it was selling. Because that's the way allies do each other. If I could talk with them, I'd show them ways to do it where everybody be more prosperous. But that's for another time. But as you heard, how many times we got to hear somebody say that man stinks? I mean, everybody. I'm pretty sure that even that is one of the reasons why they don't want no cameras in the courtroom. Because this is an ex-president of the United States, and he don't need to be embarrassed, because his embarrassment, reflects to the country. You just don't want to ridicule someone who held that high office. You just don't want to. And I can relate to that. So, but you go back and study history, you see how far they done failed. And they would see how far they have fallen. Just go back and look at Leave It to Beaver and My Three Sons, and Make Room for Daddy, and all that. And look how far you have fallen. The image that they used to put out there of themselves, that's what everybody was thinking about this country. Their image. They worshipped the image of the beast. Yeah, everybody talk about how great America is and how beautiful place, land of plenty, streets paved with gold and all that. Yeah. It was all an image. That's all. But now, the idea of that was a good idea. It's just they didn't live up to it. It was all an act. Do you understand? We ain't gonna be no act. That's why I told you, all of you who say you with me, if you think that I don't watch and listen to what happens to people and what people say and do around me, I'm here to tell you, I do. Coming grinning up in my face and talking to me like you something that you not. You're gonna be very disappointed one day if you don't correct yourself. I'm just telling you. Better get your head on straight and straighten it up. Am I clear? All right. I talk to people all the time. And oftentimes I'll say something and I see some mouths moving and some don't. But that's okay. All right. All right. Be what you claim you are. Am I clear? Okay. Now, it's late. I'm not going to hold y'all because I know some of y'all got things you got to do. So I'm going to let you get to it. And you get a chance to tomorrow, you look and see that you got an auditorium coming up over there. Soon we'll be sitting over there. And then we're going to put up another building. We always got other buildings we got to put up. So that means that I need more money. We got to buy material. I got some material coming Monday. And I thank the Caucasians that we deal with that respect us enough to give us decent prices on things. He remembered you. Didn't even change words with you when you told him to deliver it a certain day, did he? He know he gonna get his money. Let's just keep the faith and keep being upright in our dealings with people. Them people can't undo the past. They can't undo what their parents did. But they can show you that they ain't gonna try to redo it. Do you understand? And when people showing you respect, you show, but even if they ain't, you show people respect. You understand? Okay. All right. That's what righteousness is. Your righteousness should not depend on who else is righteous. Who else is righteous? Because you don't have to answer for what they do. They do. You have to answer for what you did. Always remember that. Okay? Some of them judges found that out when they was mistreating me. I didn't mistreat them. They mistreated me. What can I say? So, remember, Allah is with you when you are right. Allah is with you when you are right. Okay. So, may Allah bless us, keep us safe, and in our right minds, and grant to everyone who has truth justice in their heart. May He grant them peace. May He grant us peace and faith that will move mountains. So, may Allah's salam alaikum